Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda
Om Jnana-timirandasya Jnana-anjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kada Mahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Tapatikamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahegana Raghunathan Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padana Sahigana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitanscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. Welcome everyone. After a while, we are seeing some more faces. That's nice. I know it's Kartik Mas. Everyone is super busy. Last week to go. Okay, so we are doing the 6th chapter. We are almost in the middle of it. So for everyone's benefit, we'll just revise what we are reading in this 6th chapter, which is entitled as Dhyana Yoga. So first stage was Yoga Rurukshu to Yoga Ruda practices, which basically means from a neophyte to a perfected stage. So this chapter has multiple circles where Krishna is taking from a neophyte to a Siddha. So from a Sadhak to a Siddha stage. So he is doing in the first section as well as in the second and third sections. We'll see it repeatedly. So Krishna starts from the bottom and then he takes it to the top. He starts again from the bottom, takes it to the top. But there are different levels in each section. Second section, which we are reading right now, which is stages in yoga practice and samadhi. Again, going from bottom to the top, we'll see how. And then the perfection of yoga realization of Krishna as super soul. This will have 3 levels. We'll read about it today. And then Ashtanga Yoga, rejected by Arjuna, and destination of the yogi and the topmost yogi in the last section. Okay, so let's do some quick revision. 6.9. Binay Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Prabhuji, how are you?
Good. Thank you, Prabhuji. 6.9. I read the translation, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. A person is considered still further advanced when he regards honest, well-wisher, affectionate benefactors, the neutral meditator, the envious friend and enemies, the pious and the sinners, all with an equal mind. Hare Krishna. So here, the verse says the equal vision in the higher platform, and so Bandhu Atma Atmano. So here, and that's very important, is like Shurit. Shurit is well-wisher by nature, and Mitra is always a benefactor or friends. And Ori is in here is you can say enemies. And Udashina is neutral. Neutral. And so another two are this Bundhushu and Chadushu, like husband, friend in our, like all friends as well, is like Bundhushu, and Sadhushu is like a pure devotee, like pious person, is our Sadhushu. So it's like you're telling about the example 9 qualities, like say Prahlad Maharaj, Narad Muni, all of those Mahatmas, like they have the 9 qualities. They are real sadhu, and they are always beneficial for all human entity, like all of us. They are actually they're always helps to progress our divine, like to reach the Krishna, to reach our goal. They are all wisher, all oil wisher, and they have that like equal vision, and like Prabhupada, like our all oil wisher, and helps us lots of different way to reach Krishna. That is my note, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Very nicely explained each word by Prabhu. Just one thing, maybe we can all repeat from 6.8. So this 6.8, obviously we covered last to last class. So this 6.8 and 6.9 are related. This is the vision of the yogi. So 6.8 explained the yogi's vision towards the things. So things of the material world. And 3 examples were given. Some lostra, asama, kanchana. So lostra is pebbles, asma is a stone, and kanchana is the gold. So his vision towards things is always equal. So he does not distinguish, oh, gold, he's very excited, and when he sees the pebble, oh, it's rubbish. No, his vision is equal towards the thing. That's one level. 6.9 explains his vision towards the people is also equal. So many times, a devotee may not get attracted to a gold lying on the street. Oh, gold, I'm lucky. No, not so much. Okay, we can always take the gold and give it to Krishna. That's a different thing. But we're not so excited about the material things. But many times we do not have equal vision towards people. That's a very high level. And 9 examples are given as explained by Vinay Prabhu. So this yogi has equal vision even towards Dveshi. Dveshi means one who is envious of you. And Ari. So Ari refers to Indrari Vyakulam Lokam Mridayanti Yuga Yuga 1328 from Srimad Bhagavatam. Indra Ari. So the enemies of Indra. Ari is Janmajat Shatru. By birth, he is an enemy. Dveshi becomes a Dveshi by looking at your opulence. So there's a little difference there. So, and Dveshi may not be an enemy. Enemy is like one who attacks and tries to hurt you all the time. Who are the Ari? Ari's example, anyone remembers from Bhagavatam? Who is the Ari? I actually just said it in the verse itself. Indrari Vyakulam Lokam. So Indra Ari. Who's the Indra Ari?
Rakshasas.
That was demons, asuras. They are by birth inimical towards devatas. It's not that devatas have done something and they go against. By birth they are inimical. So Indrari Vyakulam. And Dveshi, anyone can give example of Dveshi? Envious person. Bhagavatam, Mahabharat, anywhere. Duryodhan, thank you. Duryodhan was Dveshi. He was not the Ari in the beginning. Obviously, he became Ari later. But in the beginning, he was like, okay, another kid in my house. I don't like that kid. That's it. But when he saw the power of Bhima, the people that started loving Yudhishthira was more, he became Dveshi. He became very, very envious. Oh, they're going to usurp my position, usurp my kingdom. And he became very disturbed. And he became extremely envious, converted to the Ari later. Papeshu. Anyone remember the example of Papeshu? A very sinful person. Not Ari, not envious, a papi, a sinful person. Say from Bhagavatam, anywhere.
Ratnakar.
Thank you, Prabhuji. I was thinking the same example, and there can be many more. Mrigari, for example, Mrigari was also a papi. There's no example of Ari there, it's Papi. So all these people, no matter he's a Dveshi, he's a Ari, or he's a Papeshu, this person has equal vision. Now imagine this person's mindset. How can you have an equal vision? And Arjun actually is going to reject this later. We'll see in the verses in the same chapter itself. He said, I can't have equal vision towards Yudhishthira and Duryodhana. Arjun just rejects it. But Krishna is saying this is the position of this person. Very, very high, very, very high. And as Vinay Prabhu gave example of Sir Narad Muni. Narad Muni has equal vision. He goes to Hiranyakashipu as well as to Dhruv Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. He goes everywhere, he preaches to everyone. He preaches the sons of Daksha, he preaches Daksha himself. He gets the curse, he does not get disturbed out of the curse. So they are Mahabhagavad who have this vision, very, very high position. Okay, 6.10. Prasannatma Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. We can see more staring than your face.
I'm sitting in the car. My mobile
No
holder got broken actually, so I'm somehow struggling to keep the.
No problem, Prabhuji. We can still hear you.
Yeah. So, okay, 6.10. I'll read the translation. A transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. He should live alone in a secluded place and should always carefully control his mind. He should be free from desire and feeling of possessiveness. Yeah. Yogi Yunjata Satatam means one who is a transcendentalist. Yunjata means you should a Krishna conscious concentrate in Krishna consciousness constantly. Satatam. Atmanam Rahasi Stitaha. So is who is Atmanam situated. Atmanam is body, mind, and self. Here is concentrating inwards actually, and that person should sit in ekaki. Ekaki means
Akela.
Akela. Okay. Akela Yukta Chittatma means always. Okay, you should say sit alone and you should focus his mind. Then what else is it? Nirashir Aparigraha. Nirashir means without being attracted. Nirashir means he is not having any other desire. Aparigraha, free from feeling of possessiveness. Okay, so he should be free from possessiveness. So in that stage, you can focus inside. So that is his description.
Thank you. See, just quickly, what's the difference between Rahasi and Ekaki? So Rahasi refers to a secluded place. So he's not sitting in a downtown Sydney in the middle of the road and trying to do meditation. That won't work. Secluded place where not many people are coming and going, generally in the Vedic culture referred to a jungle or a forest where yogis will go. So it doesn't mean forest has no people. This forest have less people, less activity. So that's Rahasi. And Ekaki, even within the forest, he's living alone. Not like, you go in a group. Like devotees sometimes go in a group to japa, but instead of doing japa, they're doing just talk. They hardly do any japa, but they're talking. So that's not the idea, that you're going for a walk or something and you're just chit-chatting with each other. So ekaki refers to alone. So he's doing meditation alone. He's not getting disturbed, bothered by other humans or other things. So yet the Chittatma, so he controls his mind, body, and words and just carefully meditate inwards. And the last two qualities are very important. He's not attracted towards any worldly things. As Nirashir, Aparigraha. Aparigraha many times translated as he has no possessions, but Prabhupada's translation is always better. He says, free from the feeling of possessiveness. So not having something and having the feeling of not having something is two different things. So many times people may not have something and they say, oh, I've taken sannyas. But in their heart, they may have a lot of desire to possess the things. So the better situation is in the heart, you don't feel the possessiveness. One example I heard in some class by Sri Chaitanya Charan Prabhu. He was saying there was one Babaji in Vrindavan, he will never touch money at ever. That was his rule. One day, somehow or other, maybe someone did it knowingly. He could see while he went to the sleep, he could see a note lying under his pillow. So his rule was not to touch the money. So he tried to lie down. He could not lie down. He said, "There's a note underneath, note underneath." He was so agitated. After 1 or 2 hours, he has to call his disciples and say, "Take this note away, take this note away. You know, I can't sleep when the note is under my pillow." So he's saying that's not a parigraha. That's not the proper utilization. If Prabhupada could see a note, what he will do? Thank you. Chaitanya Prabhu gave this example. Prabhupada was sitting in India somewhere, probably Mayapur. There was some guest came to see Prabhupada. Same time, one very senior disciple of Prabhupada, he went in the room and he had a big briefcase. So Prabhupada said, "Oh, please come, have a seat." He said, "Yes, Prabhupada." And in front of him, in front of the guest itself, Prabhupada asked his disciple to open the briefcase. And this briefcase was full of rupees. There were lakhs of rupees. And that time it worth crores of rupees. And Prabhupada was so happy. And this guest was explaining, as soon as I saw Prabhupada happy, like, "Oh, he looks like a material person. By looking at the money, he's very happy." But straight away, Prabhupada said, "Give, 5 lakh to BBT, 10 lakh for Mayapur project, 5 lakh for Bombay project." And within a minute, all the money was distributed for Krishna. And Prabhupada said, "So what we were discussing?" So Prabhupada was happy because he has received something which he can put in the service of Krishna. He wasn't happy because he was going to use this money for his personal use. So this yogi who is sort of not touching the money doesn't know how to use this energy of Krishna. Lakshmi is also Krishna's energy. So how can you reject Lakshmi? Yeah, but put the Lakshmi in the service of Narayan. So this aparigraha is very, very important. Devotees can have unlimited possessions, like Yudhishthira Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruv Maharaj. They are not just the possessor of a 2-bedroom unit or a house. They are the possessor of the whole world. Prahlad Maharaj actually ruled all 3 planetary systems because his father ruled. So after his father left, Prahlad was ruling 14 planetary systems by himself, a small little boy, 5-year-old boy. But he was a great Mahabhagavad. So it doesn't matter for him. He has 14 planetary system or not even 14 cents in his pocket. It doesn't matter to them. When it's there, Parikshit Maharaj, another great example. When the time came for quitting, His Holiness Radhanath Maharaj was saying, your devotion will be judged how much you are unattached. So when the situation comes, a devotee should be able to unattach himself and just go for Krishna. So when there is a need, you can have all the money and all the facilities for Krishna. But when the time arises to leave, you leave immediately. If you're delaying in leaving, that means you're attached. And you would have seen this in your personal life as well. Many times we think we are devotee and we are not so attached, but when the time comes for leaving, you cannot leave. And that shows we are attached to that particular person or that particular object. So this aparigraha is very, very important. It's not just giving up the things, it's giving up the mentality that I am the owner and I am the enjoyer. So Prabhupada writes, free from the feeling of possessiveness. It's very nice. And Prabhupada also gives this from Nectar of Devotion. Anaskta Vishyan Yatharham Upyunjata Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe Yuktam Vairagyam Uchate. We'll read it in Nectar of Devotion, but basically the point is, what is Yukta Vairagya? Yukta Vairagya means you can have anything if that is useful in the service of Lord. Bhaktivedanta Maharaj also gave a nice example in the same regards. He said, example of mobile Maharaj gave. So you don't buy a mobile and put in the service of Krishna. You only buy the mobile if there is a need for a mobile in the service of Krishna. So don't buy the object, say, oh, I bought a car, $1 million car. I will be putting the service of Krishna. I said, that's not the definition. That's not the definition. You need something for in absence of that thing, your Krishna service is interrupted. Then you go and buy, and obviously that's been put in the service of Krishna. Not that you have a desire and you buy something and say, oh, it's only for Krishna's service, I'm going to use this laptop. Okay, 1 hour a week for Krishna service, and the rest of the time you're, video games and whatnot. That's not Yukta Vairagya. That's not Yukta Vairagya. You need that thing for Krishna service, then you go and buy it, or tell your senior, I need this thing for the service of Krishna. And then if he allows you, then basically you buy it. So that way you're always unattached, always unattached. So it's a very detailed principle, but it's very nice. It's very nice. If we live our life like that, then we'll not be attached to our things, then we'll not be struggling. Okay, 6.11, 11 and 12. Jai Prakash Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Pranam Prabhu.
Pranam Prabhuji.
To practice yoga, one should go to a secluded place and should lay kusa grass on the ground and then cover it with a deer skin and a soft cloth. The seat should be neither too high nor too low and should be situated in a sacred place. The yogi should then sit it firmly and practice yoga to purify the heart by controlling his mind, senses, activities, and fixing the mind on one point. So I think in this, it's mentioned how one needs to practice the yoga. So there are a few points like saucha, which is cleanliness or sacred, and sthiramasanam, like fixing in one particular position with the body or the back being erect, and atmanaha, the mind, and nati ucharitam, nati nicham, neither too high nor too low, and kushottaram means laying on a I think the deer skin.
Kusha grass. So Kusha Uttaram is Kusha grass asan.
Yeah.
And Chailajin refers to deer or tiger skin.
Sure. So I think what you gave, like in the forest, obviously there is a chance that sometimes either snakes or some of the they can attack. So at least by sitting on a the deer skin, obviously it will make sure the flies won't get attracted, and by sitting on a the lion, like at least the snakes won't come nearer. So that way the yogi can concentrate and perform his yoga better. And also the important point is to have it on one pointed focus when doing the yoga. Atma Vishuddhaya, which is like that's how the yogi gets purifying his and eventually lead to liberation. I think some of the points which you brought up last time was some of these principles we need to see and how we can extend it to Bhakti Yoga as well. Like especially when we are doing even chanting, for example, the same thing we can follow, wherein we can sit in a particular like sit in a erect and just focus on the mantra, attentively listen. And similarly, at least as you gave some examples like bhajan kutir and all, where we can within our own house, at least if you're not positioned to go outside, in a specific place you can sit or sit in front of the deity and focus meditating on them, and then that way we can try to perform our japa better. So I think most of these are like some of the takeaways where we can try to extend and see how we can apply in Bhakti Yoga as well. But these are very good points which has been mentioned on how to perform a yoga better.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice. So this principle, as Prabhuji said, we can apply in the Bhakti Yoga as well. It's not just for the yogi going to the jungle. Like Sucho Deshe, so we can have a nice asan or a table, chair, whatever works for you, for your body you can have, but a clean place. Not someone was saying, lying on the bed and then chanting Hare Krishna at 10:30 p.m. in the night. So obviously that can be done, but that's not the best position to chant. Also in this one, the first verse, the 11th verse, refers to the external aspects, and the second verse refers to the internal aspects. So how we sort of manage the externals, which is also important, not unimportant, especially in a sadhaka stage when we are neophyte. Externals are important. So if externals are very noisy, very messy, lots of activities going in our mind. So someone is watching a movie and you're trying to chant in the same room, chanting Hare Krishna, all these externals are important rather than you sitting in front of the Lord's deity or the photo in a clean place. some soothing environment, it will be very helpful. And similarly, insights are also important. So inner meditation will just not happen automatically one day. You have to consciously cultivate it. And as Bhurijan Prabhu was saying, has said many, many times, so when you're trying to chant, don't try to chant 16 rounds attentively. What you should do, just chant one mantra attentively. This one. Just attend to this mantra only. Because if you say to mind 16 rounds, wow, too much, too much. Just attentively try to chant this mantra, this mantra, this mantra. And then the conscious practice of this will lead to attentive chanting. One day, my Guru Maharaj was saying, while chanting, you should just switch off your mind. I don't know how to do this, but he was saying you should switch off your mind. Huh? Why are you thinking about other things? You should just chant. And I was just listening. Switch off the mind. I wish there was a switch, I can switch off. But these great devotees, they have this capacity. They can be in the world, but whenever they want, they can switch off the material things and they can completely focus on Krishna or Krishna's holy name or Krishna's service. Yes, Samit Prabhu, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, I have a question, and I need to confess as well. That we're talking about attentive chanting, the ways that we should be doing it, but a lot of times it does not happen, and half the time we are struggling for time, and it so happens that we finish around either when we are driving the car or while doing some walking. So what would you like to say on that, Prabhu, and how do we maybe improve on that?
It's a big topic, Prabhuji, which you are mentioning, and it applies on me as well. I'll be confessing with all of you. Same thing here. Chaitanya Prabhu said one thing. So sometimes we may have to juggle with the time because we have multiple responsibilities. It should not become the habit for every day, that every day you're trying to squeeze your rounds. Or at least some of the rounds, Prabhuji said, should be fully focused. Now, one day it may be possible that you're chanting 12 rounds with full focus and 4 rounds you're managing. Another day it should not become 8 rounds and then 4 rounds and then all the 16 rounds you're just managing. So it should be some minimum number you try to do. And some days we just don't know how the day will come, and some family member is not well, you may have to attend him or her. All those things will happen, but it should not become the daily routine, and you should consciously try. One more thing my Guru Maharaj said in one of the classes, he said, if you really don't have time all the time, then it's a time to make time. It's a time to make time. Then you have to think about your own life. No one can tell you or tell me where I can have some extra time, where I can give focused attention to my chanting 1.5 hours at least. How can I do that? Just meditate on it. Just like when the tap leaks in the bathroom or in the kitchen, you have to go and fix it. Someone is sick or something, you have to go and attend it. So different priorities in our life, we do manage. Somehow or other we manage. Although we are very busy, but within that busy schedule, we are managing it. So we have to give priority to chanting as well. So if you're constantly ignoring it, constant inattentive chanting will lead to actually all the 10 offenses. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur has written actually a whole article. This 11th offense, inattentive chanting, will lead to number 10, 9, 8, and eventually to number 1, which is blaspheming the Vaishnavas. So inattentive chanting will lead to actually all the offenses. Some days will be difficult, I agree. Same with me as well, but it should not become a habit for every day. It's all right. I can chant just like that. No. Okay, some benefit will definitely come, but it's not the benefit which we are looking forward to within this life and within this time which we have. So we have to give priority. And how do you give priority? Prabhu answered very nicely. He said, you have to understand the value of it. Prabhu gave one example. I'm just sharing Prabhu's example. So if you're asked to carry a 120 kilo bag and you're not told what's in the bag, bag is 20 kilo. 20 kilo is very heavy for me, at least. Some maybe a gym going person. 20 kilo is heavyweight, right? Suppose someone tells you it's all rubbish and this superior has ordered you to carry this bag from point A to point B. You'll be like cursing him. Why is he telling me? Am I the only one? He hasn't found anyone to do this laborer job like that. But if it is told to you that bag carries 20 kilo of pure gold, and whenever you reach to your house, it's all yours, will you be happy carrying the gold or not happy carrying the gold? Be honest. We all love it. Huh? I love it. Why not? 20 kilo, what, even 200 grams is okay. Quite expensive these days. Huh? So the point which I'm trying to make, Prabhuji said, because many times we don't know this value of this. We can't compare holy name with gold, but it's just an example for understanding. We don't know what it is. So that's why we should read about the glories of the holy name and then understand the value of it, how fortunate we are. So we have an opportunity to be associated with Krishna's holy name, which is as good as Krishna. So once we understand the value, this is like much more precious than diamond and gold, then we will start chanting attentively. Because many times we don't understand it's another name of Krishna. Or devotees are telling, but it's okay. It's okay. No, understand the value of it. And then you will realize the value of human life. And then you can say, oh no, I cannot do that. I cannot do that. Every day, every moment, I have to practice. I think I shared one example. One devotee in Juhu temple, I think is shared by Gaurgopal Prabhu in one of his classes. He was chanting practically whole day. So Gaurgopal Prabhu asked, so Prabhuji, how many rounds do you chant? Looks like you're chanting like 64 or 128 rounds a day. He said, no, Prabhu, I only chant 16 rounds. And Gaurgopal Prabhu said, 16? You finish in the morning itself, but whole day I see you chanting. What was his response? 16 is my normal, that's fine, but all other time I'm practicing how to chant the 16 rounds. And he gave an example of, say, Sachin Tendulkar or anyone else, you see them playing in, say, World Cup. I think World Cup is going on. I'm not sure, I may be wrong, but some players are playing. Do you think these players don't ever play after this time when we see them on the screen? Don't they ever play? They play all the time, actually. Then this performance, what we see on the screen, good or bad, this is just a slight portion of what they play whole day and whole week and whole month and whole year. I heard in one lecture again, this runner, I forgot the name, this black-bodied runner, maybe some of you would know, a skinny, black body. He ran 20,000 hours to be able to perform in a 2-minute race, 20,000 hours. And he won the gold medal. So to win a 2-minute race, he had to do practice for 20,000 hours. So to do a japa of 16 rounds attentively, it will just not happen overnight with any one of us, including me. And we have to consciously cultivate this. Again, as I said, some days may be bad and we are not able to manage properly. That's all right. We still chant 16 rounds no matter what. But other days we have to make time. We have to put some things aside and say, we'll come back to you later. My chanting is more important. My spirituality is more important. My Bhagavatam reading is more important than anything else. Switch off the WhatsApp. Nothing will happen. Radha Govind Maharaj said, one example again, as an example, he said, suppose someone tells you, if you chant Hare Krishna 16 rounds, the whole world will die. And he himself said, no one will die, but suppose if someone says, someone shared this in VSS, suppose someone tells you that if you chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and everyone will die, don't chant Hare Krishna. And Maharaj said, what you should do? Chant Hare Krishna and let the whole world die. It will never happen, but Maharaj said, it is so important. It is so important. Nothing can take priority over chanting. One more example I'll share from Radha Govind Maharaj, disciple Gaur Govind Maharaj. Gaur Krishna Maharaj, yes. He said, he's Indian. He was an Indian-bodied Maharaj. So he gave a very nice example from India. He said, when you're going in a local train from A to B, local train, who stops at every stop, every stop comes a local passenger train, I think you call it. Now, when you're going from local passenger train from A to B, and then a Rajdhani comes, what happens? You put the local passenger train on one side and let the Rajdhani go. So it says, holy name is like Rajdhani. All these other things of the world is like a local passenger. They can wait. Rajdhani cannot be stopped. You have to do that. So we have to just read and listen the glories of the holy name. That's why we read Harinam Amrita in the morning in the temple before we start the chanting. So we understand the glories of the holy name. All of us have different issues in their personal lives, but you have to put them aside for a while and then attend to the holy name. And sometimes you may have to go, that's okay, but it should not become a regular habit. Sorry, whatever came into my mind, I shared.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you. Now we have 2 more questions related to chanting or Priya Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, yeah, first of all, I wanted to mention, I think Anand Vrindavan Prabhu, he really emphasizes on the chanting aspect, because he says that one should not actually even leave the house without chanting their full rounds, actually, or even start work. And I was watching once, and he was heavily chastising someone over the Zoom call, actually, that the person was having his camera off while the japa session. And I was I was like shocked to see that, but actually, he was just, I guess, being I guess it is important to have people who can be really open with us and be to help us with our Krishna consciousness in that way. So he was like just saying that, if you're going to have your camera off, then you don't come to this japa session, because how do I know you're actually chanting or not? So I saw that one, so it was really gave me, I was wanting to join his japa session, but then I was a bit scared to do that. So
good, we have Sumit Prabhu here, who is very kind and generous. He always says, but he admits everyone.
yeah.
And I'm sure you're not talking about the other devotees here who have their camera off. Oh, Krishna. Yes, Mataji.
And yes, and also I just want to ask where the purport here in the 6.11 to 12, it says I was just reading, it said like in India, the yogis, the transcendentals, or the devotees all leave their home, reside in sacred places such as Prayag, Mathura, Vrindavan, Rishikesh, Haridwar, and in solitude practice yoga, where the sacred rivers like the Yamuna and the Gangas flow. But often this is not possible, especially for Westerners. The so-called yoga societies in big cities may be successful in earning material benefit, but they are not all suitable for the actual practice of yoga. So actually, I was just wanting to understand why it is mentioned it's not possible for Westerners, because I think Westerners are doing more sincere bhakti. I see more. I often find that, even our sannyasis a lot of our sannyasis are Westerners. So I don't understand that one.
Okay. So Mataji, this is just said a generic statement by Prabhupada.
Okay.
So it's not often possible because they don't have this cultural background. So if you are in India, taken birth in India, basically you get a lot of culture. You may not follow those culture, but you get that culture from the very childhood. Even if you are from other religion, Muslims or Sikh or Christianity, they all know about Ram, Krishna, and all that. Huh? So because it's so open in India, there's so much temples and other religious aspect in India there. People celebrate on the Holi, Diwali, so they know about each other. But Westerns who have no background, they can't necessarily go to leave the New York City probably and go and sit in Prayagraj, for example. They will not do it. But that's not necessary. As you correctly said, sometimes you see Western bodied people are doing more bhakti. So because bhakti is not based on your body, where the body has taken birth, how beautiful you are or how intelligent you are. And bhakti is just beyond all this. Bhakti is for Atma. So whoever realizes that, whether it's a Western body or Indian body or some other body, it doesn't matter. They can just go with a super speed. We see a great example of Prabhupada preaching initially in America. All his followers initially were all Western bodied. They had no knowledge about Krishna. They had no knowledge about Guru, no knowledge about any etiquette. They will sit and smoke cigarette in front of Prabhupada. So they had these cultural barriers. They had no information about God or realization and yoga and all that. But because they were sincere and they were associating with Prabhupada, they were serving Prabhupada, they became such a great Vaishnavas. So the potency of Bhakti Yoga is so much. Whoever takes it, it will rub on him. The only qualification I remember from Radhanath Maharaj, he said, is your sincerity. If you're sincere, all the barriers can be crossed. All the barriers can be crossed. If you're not sincere, no matter how much facility is given to you, you will not perform bhakti. You may be given, best house, best dress, best of the money, but if you don't want to chant, you don't want to serve, you'll just not do it. You will have 100 excuses all the time. Yeah.
Okay. So they're saying in that context of
general cultural concept, Mataji. But India, even culturally, the devotees people may not be advanced, but culturally also they go to holy places. Culturally also. Huh? Or there's a Kumbh Mela, let's go to Prayagraj. They may not know anything about Kumbh Mela. Oh, it's auspicious, it's good for me and for my family. They will go and take bath. Now they may come back and eat meat, to be honest. Huh? They do it. They go to Ganga, they come back, drink alcohol. But what I'm saying, culturally, they go and attend to these things. They listen to these things. They're open about it. But Western, at this stage, the culture is missing. Yeah? But for Bhakti, as Prabhupada said, there is no barrier ever.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Thank you, Mataji. Sakhi Radhika Mataji.
We just quickly wanted to share. I was hearing a lecture in there, we were told before also, a practical way of checking if we are doing our chanting in the right way or not are given like 4 P's. Radhesham Prabhu used to give 4 P's, you must have heard. It is prayer, full mood, posture, place, and pronunciation. So if we just sit and take, like I write down on a paper and keep it next to me, and the moment it goes, I realize half of the things are missing, and then again. So the practice which you were telling, we can, if somebody can find it helpful. So I thought I'll share that.
Thank you. Can you share it with the group, Mataji?
Yeah, it is.
Send it to
4 P's. I'll message in the group.
Yeah, message to Sunil Prabhu and he can probably publish it for all of us. That would be nice. Any help is most welcome. Thank you, Mata, for sharing. Okay, let's move to the next one. And Prabhupada also mentions very nicely, Hare Nam, Hare Nam. For Kali Yuga, there is only one shelter. And one more thing comes to my mind on this verse. Prabhupada said, 99% of our spiritual advancement will be based on our chanting of holy name. So holy name is everything. Everything else we do is to concentrate our mind on the holy name. Okay, so 13, 14, similar verses. Who's next? Priya Mataji, you were not there last week, right? Probably not.
No, sorry, Prabhuji, I wasn't there last time.
That's okay, Mataji. We're just revising. Priya Mataji was also probably not there. Sumit Prabhu is not. Rupam Prabhu, you were there?
I was.
Okay, thank you. Aapko bada wala. Very intelligent. So 2 verses for you.
Thank you. All right. One should, I'll start the translation.
Yes, please.
One should hold one's body, neck, and head erect in a straight line and stare steadily at the tip of the nose. Thus, with unagitated, subdued mind, devoid of fear, completely free from sex life, one should meditate upon me within heart and make me the ultimate goal of life. So a few things we discussed last week, mostly from the external body posture, as it says, Samam Kayo Shiro Grivam. So Kaya is the body and then Shira is head. So here Krishna is saying the bodily structure, the posture, how it should be in one single line, straight line. Then Dharyam Achalam Sthira. So Achalam is something which doesn't move. So Sthira is stay completely still. So stay still, keep your body posture straight. Sampreksha Naishikagram Swan, which is looking, also focusing. It talks about the focusing. So as you mentioned about that, we focus between our 2 eyes and at the tip of the nose. And the reason for that is that's the point where everything becomes stuck still. There is no, it's achalam completely, no movement, nothing much is happening. So in a very shant atmosphere, the focus is more, and the yogi can focus. His concentration levels are higher. Then it says Disha Chana Valokyam.
It says Cha Anavalokayan.
Yeah, looking, yeah. So on all sides, similar to that he is not distracted. So he is not, by focusing on his tip of the nose and also not looking here and there, he can focus completely on me. Then the next verse talks about the Prashanatma, Prashantatma, which is like completely dhir, sthir atma, cool, composed, Vikatavir, fearless. He's not completely devoid of fear. Brahmachari Vratestita, he maintains his celibacy. And again, the definition of celibacy is quite broad. But at this stage, we are just looking from physical mind and physical point of view. Mana samyamya mat chitto. So completely concentrating his mind on one and only one thing, that is me, that is Krishna. And yukta asita matpara, which and by following these things, the yogi should sit and concentrate on me and make me as the ultimate goal of life.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice, nicely explained. Two words are very, very important. Like we picked up one word from the last verse, Yogi Atma Vishuddhaye. So we do this yoga, say practice of Hare Krishna or any other service to Krishna, for self-purification. So here we can pick up these two words, Mat Chitta, Mat Paraha. So Krishna is openly talking about Mat Chitta. So you put your chitta where? On me. Your subconscious mind should be me. Subconscious mind refers to, there's one mind which is, you can say, a RAM, one is hard disk. RAM is like instant. Many times, you see someone, oh, I've seen him somewhere. I can't remember. Maybe after, 5 minutes of thinking, oh, I've seen him, 10 years ago in Mayapur or something. So instantly you don't remember. But if you meet with, say, Rupam Prabhu or someone like that, every day you meet, or so often, you can't forget. It's just in your mind. So chitta refers to your subconscious mind. That means the impressions in your mind. So it's very deep mind. It's not just instant mind. So many times we may have instant peace of mind, but in chitta, inside, we have lot of agitation, lot of desires. As soon as the Kartik is finished, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to eat this. Sorry to say, devotees plan. Kartik, okay, somehow I'm managing, which is good, which is very, very good. And I'm in the same boat. But I'm saying, as soon as Kartik will finish, and some devotees were sharing, they didn't eat, say, sweet, for example, in the month of Kartik. But as soon as Kartik finished, they said, I took double and triple quota after Kartik. This is not what Krishna is talking about. Krishna, chitta refers to your stagnant inner deep mind is completely. This is why it's called prashanta. What's the difference between shanta and prashanta? Shanta is external peace. I'm looking, Hare Krishna, how are you? Nice. Inside I may have a lot of enviness or a lot of enmity towards that person. I don't like that person and blah, blah, blah. Prashanta Atma is completely peaceful. Inside, deep peace he has. You see a sannyasi. I'm looking at the photo of Radhanath Maharaj. Just look at Maharaj's photo. How do you feel? Complete shant, complete. Bhakti Rasamrit Maharaj, another example, many more, many advanced devotees in this moment. So they are prashanta. They are just not, we may be shanta sometimes. We are not prashanta. We have a Dhira Prashant Prabhu. He is shanta. But most of us, we are not prashanta. Sometimes we are shant. Most of the time we are ashant. We are agitated inside. So we got the bhi. So what is the bhaya? Rupam Prabhuji said he's bhaya free. He's fear free. What does fear mean here? There can be multiple levels of fear. What does the fear mean here?
Forgetting Krishna.
Sorry, say again, Prabhuji.
Forgetting Krishna, Prabhu.
Forgetting Krishna. Okay, now that's not what this verse is talking about. That's why I want to be very clear here. So this can be the fear for a devotee. Yes, you're right, Prabhu, but not in this context of this verse.
So, Prabhu, it's losing of your material possessions.
You're talking like a devotee. This chapter is for Ashtanga Yogi. Sorry. So Krishna is telling from that perspective. I'm not saying these definitions are wrong, but in this context, what's the fear?
Death.
Yes, and more. Just you're right, Prabhuji. Just expand on that. For the Ashtanga Yogi, so just imagine Ashtanga Yogi goes to a jungle, right, for meditation, and he has set up his asana. He's trying to meditate, but a snake comes from behind. what happens? Will he be fearful? Yes, he will be fearful. So Krishna is saying you should not be fearful of your externals. You should not be. Otherwise, you can't concentrate, because in jungle there will be some bird droppings may happen while you are trying to meditate. It will just happen. So this fear here, bigger V refers to no external fear should be there. Then only you can focus. If you're constantly focusing, oh, what if a tiger comes behind me while I'm meditating? What if a snake comes? What if a bird droplet come on my head? What if this? What if that? You cannot concentrate. You cannot concentrate. So what you said, Prabhuji, they are correct from Krishna conscious perspective. We are not talking externally, talking done, but here we are talking this bhaya in the mind should not be there. That's why you set up your asana nicely. You choose the right place. Suchodeshe. Not just anybody go in a cave inside. Now Haridas Thakur can go in and chant inside a cave which has a big snake. Devotees were fearful of going. Haridas Thakur was not, and devotees complained to Haridas Thakur, we cannot come and meet you because of this big snake. So Haridas Thakur said, no, that's all right. But they said, no, we are fearful. You are not fearful, we are fearful. So he said, okay, let's see, wait for one more day. And then let's see what happens. The next day, snake left the cave. That's what Chaitanya says. So the next day, snake was so kind to these devotees, said, oh, Haridas Thakur and devotees are coming and meeting here. This is a very nice place. I will leave this place. So snake left. Haridas Thakur remained there. But he was sort of willing to get out. And he said, okay, let's wait one more day. So Krishna inspired the snake's heart and said, I should go. Haridas Thakur should not be disturbed. He's a devotee. So bhaya should not be there. Now 4.10, the bhaya we were talking about, that was the existence of Krishna. Does Krishna exist? Can I attain Krishna? Does this process work? That sort of bhaya. So it's a little bit different here. Okay, so two words, machita and matara. Matara refers to make me as your ultimate goal. Now, you may have some immediate goal in life. Everyone has it. I have to go and drop my kids. I have to go and attend to my milk, which is boiling. Mother Yashoda also did that. You can have some medium-term goals. I want my kid to get good education. I want me to become healthy and all that. Medium, but ultimate goal, mat paraha. Prabhupada writes, ultimate goal of life. That is important. Our ultimate goal of life. I was talking to one of my friend. He was saying, a good retirement. I will not explain it, but a good retirement. He's thinking about his retirement in 40s. And constantly thinking about retirement. So I should earn extra money. I should have this and I should have that investment. And then this will give me, 10 lakh rupees and that will give me 20 lakh rupees. I was just listening to him and like, it's good to have plans. I'm not denying it, but so much planning, like, I'll get rent from here and I'll get rent from there. That's too much. So it should not get your, immediate and medium-term goals should not get converted to ultimate goal. Rather, your ultimate goal should flow through in your medium goals and immediate goals as much as possible. So this is my goal. And then how can I work backwards so that I achieve my ultimate goal, which is to become a Premi Bhakta in this life of Krishna. That's my ultimate goal. How do I work backwards? I have to leave job today or maybe after 20 years. What should I do on a daily basis? What should I do on a 5-year basis? How much services I can take? How much reading I can do of Chaitanya Charitamrita? One time I remember Deva Maharaj was here in City Temple and he asked everyone within the class. He's very good in that. He said, how many of you have been coming to the temple for more than 3 years? And many of them raised the hands, like 80% of the Janta raised the hand. And then Maharaj said, how many of you have read Chaitanya Charitamrita? Not even a single hand, maybe one hand. 1 or 2 hands came. Everyone hands. And Maharaj said, what are you doing? You've been coming to temple for 3+ years. You haven't read Chaitanya Charitamrita as yet. What are you doing? Everyone was very happy. I'm like a senior one. Maharaj is like, what are you doing? So where are our goals? We have goals for our material life. Where are the goals for spiritual life? Bhakti Rasayan Maharaj said, we must have goals, and not only goal A. He said goal A, goal B, goal C. Spiritual goals. What is my goal A? Okay, I'm going to read whole Chaitanya Charitamrita. If I cannot achieve, what's my goal B? At least half of it in next 2 years. Now, sorry to say, most of us don't even have spiritual goals. Yeah, chanting chal raha hai, somehow squeezing our rounds. driving shopping center, dropping kids and this and that. Somehow Bhakti Shastri classes ho hi rahi. Somehow assignment will happen. Somehow I'll pass, and somehow my life will just pass through. Everything else is very important except making a spiritual holiday plan. What are we doing? So I'm just repeating Maharaj's word, not my words. I have no adhikar to say, but Maharaj said, you must have it. You must have it. And when are you going to become devotees? When are you going to read all these Prabhupada books? When are you going to repeat the books? When are you going to share these books with others? When are you going to do more services, intense services for Krishna? When? It's very intense, but it's all true. We are also passing in our life's journey very, very fast. We must have good goals. Good goals. We may fail it. That's okay, but then there's a goal B, and then there's a goal C. Like we do outside. If we lose one job, we know how to get another job overnight, or at least we try. So we should have it. Mat paraha, very, very important. Okay, let's move. We're still doing the revision. Kanika Mataji, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, I have a question.
Yes,
and
Mataji.
sorry, Prabhu, you may have explained it last time and I wasn't there in the class. Prabhu, this chapter, why is Krishna talking about think about me? Like how, why is he bringing him, like, you know, Bhakti Yoga ka jo aspect hai, like Mat Para is like very much like Bhakti Yoga aspect, which will come in the next few chapters. Middle of the chapter, he has just suddenly brought in ki mere bare mein socho. Is there a reason behind that, or is it, yeah?
Yes, Mataji, very nice question. Prabhupada has explained this question. So Prabhupada said many times, Krishna, generally speaking, Mataji, we divide Bhagavad Gita into three parts, right? Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, and Bhakti Yoga. And we say Bhakti Yoga is the middle part, Jnana Yoga. But Prabhupada said in every chapter, and Prabhupada said every shloka, Krishna is inspiring all of us to do Bhakti Yoga. Now, it's up to us how you interpret that. So, as you correctly said, Mataji, Krishna is openly using the word Mat-chitta and Mat-para. It can have two meanings, Mataji. So, one meaning which you can take from Prabhupada. Prabhupada is saying, yes, Mat-para, Mat-chitta. If you see Mataji in 14th chapter, I'm sure you have attended 14th chapter earlier, he is openly talking about bhakti. In a Jnana Yoga, he's talking about bhakti. In 15th chapter, talking about bhakti. In 17th chapter, is talking about 18 is open bhakti, right? But it's a Jnana Yoga section. Huh? So Krishna, throughout the Bhagavad Gita, is giving Bhakti Yoga. Although it's not primarily Bhakti Yoga, but Krishna is giving Bhakti Yoga in all these chapters, including the verses very, very openly. Huh? Now, second thing which we can take, Mataji, this is a chapter for a Dhyana Yoga, which is Ashtanga Yoga. Even Ashtanga Yogi has to take shelter of Krishna. One of the speakers, I can't remember who, Mataji, he was saying, no yoga is complete without Krishna. Even Karma Yoga, you have to do yoga with Krishna. You have to offer your phala to Krishna. In Jnana Yoga, you have to have Brahman, which is Krishna's energy of Krishna. Ashtanga Yoga, you have to have Krishna because you're concentrating on Paramatma. And Bhakti Yoga, obviously. So no yoga is complete without Krishna. It's the yogi who takes Krishna in whichever way. If a yogi takes it and Paramatma is the ultimate, okay, he's Ashtanga Yogi. Okay, Krishna is a Brahman as everything, he is a Jnana Yogi. And Krishna is only, I offer my results to Krishna and then I'm a Karma Yogi. So whichever way you take, but Krishna constantly is opening his heart again and again. And you'll see, Mataji, as you correctly said, in this verse and in verse next 15, is clearly saying, so you're saying, Mat chitta mat paraha, and the result will be Mat sansthanam. See? So if you do Mat chitta and Mat paraha, what will be the result? So that's a process, and here's the result. Mat is, you will come to me. Simple. And Prabhupada writes very nicely, he attains to the kingdom of God. So if you're constantly doing Mat chitta, thinking about Krishna, making Krishna as your goal, ultimate goal, what will happen? Mat sanstham adhigachati. So you can say it's pure Bhakti Yoga, Mat, pure Bhakti Yoga. But if a Ashtanga Yogi is reading it, he will read in his own way because his ultimate destination is a little different. But very good question. We can see the heart of Krishna here. Okay, 6:15, where I was. Rupam Prabhu did that last time. Samit Prabhuji, would you like to do the next one?
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
6:15, Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu.
Translation. Thus, practicing constant control of the body, mind, and activities, the mystic transcendentalist, his mind regulated, attains to the kingdom of God or the abode of Krishna by cessation of material existence. So, we few Sanskrit words to start with. Yunjana, practice. Atmanam, meaning body, mind, and soul. So, Yunjanan evam sadatmanam, practicing constantly with the body, mind, and soul. Then said niyat, which is controlling. So constantly controlling the mind. Shantim nirvana paramam. Shanti is peace. Nirvana paramam is cessation of material existence. Mat samsthanam adhigacchati, which means this mat samsthanam, like we said, is the spiritual abode, the kingdom of God, and adhigacchati means attains. So some people, like you said, nirvana is by some people, last time you mentioned, was taken as a void by some people, but Prabhupada clearly rejected that thing, that there's no void, there's no voidism. There is a person, which we say the Purusha, and we focus on that. Yes, so if you do Matchitta and Matpara, is what is mentioned there. If you do Matchitta and Matpara, then you will attain my abode, which is Matsamsthanam Adhigacchati.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Just one thing I just remembered, Prabhupada said there's no void, as Prabhuji said nicely. Prabhupada said there's no void anywhere in the existence except being void in the person's mind who's saying it's void. कहीं और खाली नहीं है, उसका इधर ही खाली है खाली. So there is nowhere else it's void except in his person's mind, because he cannot understand. Prabhupada said everything has a utility. Everything has a utility. Prabhupada was walking with one of his disciples, Badri Narayan Prabhu. Now he is Maharaj. So Badri Narayan Maharaj, that time he was a Prabhu, and he was asking different things. So Prabhupada said, so what is this with this cane? He pointed towards some plants there. So he said, Prabhupada, I don't know what this is, but it's just a weed. Prabhupada says, what's weed? He said, useless. So Prabhupada turned around towards Badrinath Maharaj and he said, you are useless. You don't know the meaning of this. That doesn't mean it's useless. So he says, Krishna has never done anything which is useless. So everything has a utility. Krishna, we don't know, that's okay, but we cannot say it's useless. Prabhupada said, you don't know, then you should not say this is useless. So many times we don't know many things, and that's our limitation. But it doesn't mean those things have no value, no utility. And Prabhupada said, everything Krishna has done for a reason. Everything has a reason. Why this weed is growing here, we don't know. There is a reason behind it. Okay, let's move to 6:16. I can see Charu Mataji, Hare Krishna. Okay, if you are not ready, it's okay. Sorry, Mother, I cannot hear you. You are not dead.
I will try. Just give me 1 minute.
No problem, Mataji. You take your time.
So 6:16.
Yes, Mataji.
There is no possibility of one's becoming a yogi, O Arjun, if one eats too much or eats too little, sleeps too much or does not sleep enough. So this is from 16 to 23. This is a series. These are series of verses which talk about realization of Paramatma. And Krishna will start talking about basics here again. So if we see the verse, it just starts, everything starts with na, 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 na. So he's talking in, Krishna is speaking here in, from negative perspective. Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. And then in the next verse, he will say, do this, do this, do this. So just something I was thinking about, how we, when we came to Krishna consciousness, this was many years ago. The one thing I remember very clearly was told to me was, when do things that take you towards Krishna and don't do things that take you away from Krishna. So this verse and the next verse just fit into those two, into this particular statement that was made. So anyway, the Sanskrit, some of the Sanskrit words here are it says nati ashnastu yogas to yogosti. So one should not eat too much. Then na chaikantam anashnataha. So one should not fast too much also. Anashnataha. So one should not go without food for a long time. And na chati swapna shilasya. One should not sleep too much. And jagrato naiva cha arjuna. So one should not stay awake for too long. So here Krishna is recommending balance. And again, Srila Prabhupada used to say that if you sleep too much, then you become lazy. And if you sleep too less, then you become crazy. So this particular verse just talks about it. But he's saying, so if one should not eat too much, because then you become lazy again. And if you should not eat too less, because then you won't have the energy to serve Krishna. So the purpose of eating is just to get energy. And if we eat too much, then most of the energy the body has is spent in digesting the food and then sleeping. And if we eat too little, again, then we are left with no energy. So as I said, I just repeat that this verse talks about balance. One should not sleep more than what your body needs. Prabhupada recommends 6 hours in the purport, but someone may need 7 hours, someone may need 5 hours. It just depends from body to body. But if you sleep more, then we are influenced by mode of ignorance.
Thank you, Mataji. Very nicely explained. So as Mataji said, this is the negative part. And then Krishna in the next one, which is one of the most famous verses, 6:17, will explain the positive section. Just looking at different devotees here, I think we have to go back in the first cycle. Manmohan Prabhu, I'm not sure whether you were there in the last class.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, I wasn't there. Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, no problem, Prabhuji.
Prabhu, I can do.
Okay, please, Mataji.
He who is regulated in his habits of eating, sleeping, recreation, and work can mitigate all material pains by practicing the yoga system. Here, yukta ahar. Krishna is talking about 3 things: regulated diet, then balanced work-life balance, and then sleep, regulated sleep. So, and one who practices all this that can mitigate all material pains. That's what Krishna is saying. So you were telling in this about that the duties, the karmas, the discharging of duties, like it's 6 to 8 hours is enough, and sleep, as Charu Mataji was also explaining, 5 to 6 hours. At the same time, whatever is there for the comfortable with the person to person according to the body. And then regulated eating, mating, and defending. That means recreation activities, also anything which is bringing us closer to Krishna, or we are able to maintain the body, like swimming, taking care of the body, and it's also recreation, and is helping us to do our services better for the Lord. So regulation and balance is what Krishna is telling in this.
Thank you, Mataji, very nicely. As Mataji said, so 4 things given in the verse. So yukta ahar is eating, swapna vibodhasya, sleeping, vihar can be considered as mating, and yukta chesasya is defending. So we all work for our defense mostly. You're not literally working how you're going to get chapati in the night. We probably have all that, but we work for our defense. What we think should be different. His Holiness Dev Maharaj was telling one research in America was done few hundred people who are 10 plus. 10 plus means 10 million plus portfolio. And they were asked, so what will make you happy? You have $10 million. Only 10 million I have. Only 10 million. What is 10 million? Huh? I have to achieve something like 50 or something. Then I can be peaceful. Maharaj was explaining that. Only 10. Like, okay. People many times don't even have 10 rupees in their pocket, and they are still living. And here 10 million people are fearful that this is not enough for my security. I have to make myself more secure. More secure. What is that more? We don't know. Never ends. So Krishna is talking about this balanced. Okay, I'm moving forward a little bit. We go back to Prasannatma Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
19, Prabhu.
Yes, 18, Prabhuji, 6:18.
18. When the yogi, by practice of yoga, disciplines his mental activities and becomes situated in transcendence, devoid of all material desires, he is said to be well established in yoga. Sanskrit words, I'll try, Prabhu. Yada vinayatam chittam means always. Vinayatam means disciplining his consciousness, like mind and his activities. Atmani evavatishtate. Atmani means Atmani in the self. Is it, Prabhu?
Yes, Prabhuji, yes, you're right.
Atmani in the self. Eva avatishtate.
So Eva is
So
certainly tishtate is sit, to be situated.
Situated. Nispraha means without any desire, material desire, without any material desire. Sarva kamebhya means who has given up all material desire. Yukta iti uchyate tada. So yukta means so in that if he is situated like that, he will be able to be connected with the Lord in yoga.
Thank you, Prabhuji. You explained every single Sanskrit word. That's nice. See, we are
Trying to-
learning. Yeah,
Yeah,
we are all learning. You can read Prabhupada translation. I also read constantly, but slowly you'll get a little glimpse of the verse. It's very
Yeah.
beautiful. And Prabhupada gives example of Ambarish Maharaj, how he was situated in the world, but he was out of the world. Huh? He was the king of the world. He had many queens, many children, so many citizens to look after, but he could dedicate his every single sense for the service of the Lord. Will not read it, it's quite big, but very nice example Prabhupada had given multiple times. 6:19. Binay Prabhu?
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
So this is the new verse or last
Not
one?
yet. We have covered till 23.
Oh, okay. There is no note, that's why maybe I couldn't do this much.
No problem. You can just read the translation and I can do it.
Yeah. No, what is 19? As a lamb in a windless place does not waver, so the transcendentalist whose mind is controlled remain always steady in his meditation on the transcendent self.
Thank you, Prabhuji. It's a very simple verse, and the Sanskrit is very, very. Yatha Deepo. Yatha means, as. Deepa. Deepa, we all lighting diya every day. Nivad. So Vat refers to Vayu, wind. Nivad means Nirvad, no Vayu. Istha. So as a Deepa does not waver where there is no Vayu. So if the wind is constantly coming, you're offering a lamp in the park, it's very difficult to offer the lamp, right? But if there is no Vayu, Nivad, then the Jyoti will not waver. So similarly, here Deepa refers to our consciousness and Vata refers to our desire. So if you have a lot of desire, you're trying to practice, Bhakti yoga or any kind of meditation, it will be difficult. Your mind cannot stay at one place. You see a little child, they're always chanchal. They're looking here, there. Mama is shut down. Some child, they grab the age of say 4 or 5. They speak, and Mama and Papa say, Just hang on, always speaking. Don't you get tired? There are so many questions to ask, So you can just compare it to our desires. So we have so many desires to fulfill, to speak about, to talk about, to solve about. You cannot stay focused in the yoga. So yatha dipo nivata. So na ingate sopama ismuta. So ingate means wavering. So it does not waver. So similarly, a yogi tries to do his mind nivat. Now, nivat here does not mean your desirelessness of a Buddhist, but less desires. And Prabhupada always said this desirelessness is not means no desire. Desirelessness means have no material desire for sense gratification. A devotee also have a lot of desires, to please Krishna, to please Vaishnavas. So very nice analogy given. Now I'll give the next one to Rupam Prabhu. Only 4 verses.
Oh, last time we said we didn't do this.
Yeah, we have done 2, and I'll do 2 more.
We did 2 last time. 20 and 21 we did.
Oh, on my notes, I've written as TBC.
CBC.
TBC to be confirmed.
TBC. Okay. Let's do it together. It's okay, Prabhuji. Yes, we stopped, I think, halfway through. No problem. I wanted to explain 22 little. This is a very, very important verse. Okay, let's do 2021, Prabhuji, whatever you can, and then I'll do the rest.
I'll try. So, in the stage of perfection called trance or samadhi, one's mind is completely restrained from material mental activities by practicing yoga. This perfection is characterized by one's ability to see the self by the pure mind and to relish and rejoice in the self. In that joyous state, one is situated in the boundless transcendental happiness realized through transcendental senses.
Maybe we can stop here, Prabhuji. Then we'll read the rest with the verse. You can just pick up some keywords, Prabhuji. So chittam nirodhaya. So nirod. This is the word used in Bhagavatam as well. To withdraw is one of the topics of Srimad Bhagavatam. So chittam nirod. So chitta nirod means withdrawing your chitta from the world, basically. So you're talking about pratyaha. So I had this diagram actually, which I forgot to mention. So these are the 8 stages of Ashtanga Yoga. Obviously, in Bhagavad Gita, we don't get too much detail, but Bhagavad Gita is not, that's not the purpose of Bhagavad Gita. So Krishna is expecting Arjuna already knows all this, and he's just trying to help Arjuna to give an overview of that. So we'll just read the names. So Yam, Niyam, Asan, Pranayam, Pratyahar, Dharana, Dhyan, and Samadhi. So Yam means don'ts. Many times, and I also, when I came to Krishna consciousness, I thought Yam means do's and Niyam means no. It's not like that. It's other way. Yam means rules and regulations. What are the Yam for our devotees? Like 4 Yams. 4 rules are there. They are don'ts. We don't do that. And niyam is, okay, we chant 16 rounds, we get up morning, we do some deity worship, we offer all the bhoga. They're all the niyam. Asan can be refers to a sitting posture, controlling the body, and then pranayam refers to controlling of the breath. First 4 refers to the whole thing is Ashtanga Yoga. The first part is Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga, in the normal word, they call it Hatha Yoga. Hatha Yoga refers to physical bodily control, you can say. Physical bodily control. So we have eating control. You have taken some yam. Yeah, I will do this and I will not do this. So you have taken yam and niyam. Many times, in India, some Matajis take some brata, which you have never heard. There was some Shukravar brata, some this brata. They will only eat 1 time a day, paratha and dahi or something. So this is all niyam. So people many times make their own niyams as well. But we should not do that. We should take niyam of Shastra. Asana is sitting posture. And when you talk about yoga, Prabhupada said many times, we are talking about just the asana, but asana is not a whole yoga. It's just a part of yoga. And devotees also sit in a good posture, as we were reading earlier, make a good asana for the purpose of yoga, real yoga, connecting with the Lord. Pranayam, breathing control. So Prabhupada said about pranayam very nicely. He said, a yogi, when I say yogi, Ashtanga yogi, pranayam is breathing control. And there are many words which Prabhupada actually had written, Rechak and Kumbhak. Many people will know more than me. Anyway, so pranayam is breathing control. So their breathing is perfectly aligned and they can just feel their breathing as well. But Prabhupada said, what is a devotee's pranayam? Anyone remembers Prabhupada's definition of pranayam? When we jump in the Hare Krishna Kirtan up and down and our breathing goes after the Kirtan, that is our pranayam. That's what Prabhupada said. So Prabhupada never recommended this sort of pranayam. Rather, Prabhupada said you jump in the Kirtan and dance for the deity's pleasure. That is our pranayam. Pratyahar, withdrawing the senses. So basically, ahar means khana, bhojan or food, and pratyahar means against food. So here against food is not just a food for our tongue or tummy, it's a food for our eyes, for ears. So if our eyes like to see some particular object, for example, you withdraw from there. Our ear like to hear some Bollywood or Hollywood, Tollywood music, you withdraw from that music. Your nose want to smell something material, you withdraw. That is called pratyahar. Withdrawing the senses from the sense object is called pratyahar. What's a devotee's pratyahar? Nothing for sense gratification and everything for Krishna. Then you can have anything. Yukta Vairagya, which you were reading earlier. Dharana, controlling the mind. So at this point, your mind is completely under control. This is pretty high stage in Ashtanga Yoga. Dhyan, you are able to meditate on Vishnu. Broken dhyan, so there are different types of dhyan and different types of samadhi. I'll not go in detail. It's all given in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, 8-fold processes, but this is out of our syllabus. I'm just explaining the different steps. And samadhi is complete, unwavering dhyan on Vishnu. This is a topmost state. And what's a samadhi as per Prabhupada for a devotee? Anyone remembers? What's our samadhi?
Absorption.
Absorption, yeah. Ahetuki apratihata. That's our samadhi. Constantly serving Krishna. That's our samadhi. And that samadhi may mean you're going in the market and buying potato and dhania, because that's a samadhi. Complete absorption, unbroken. Ahetuki apratihata. That is the samadhi for a devotee. No moment of your day goes without serving Krishna. Even if you're sleeping for Krishna's seva. So your body is fresh, so you can serve Krishna again. So samadhi is completely serving Krishna. And that's why we say sannyasi is in samadhi. Although sannyasi is traveling, he's preaching, he's meeting to so many people, writing books, he's always in samadhi, always in trance. What does it mean? He does not do anything which is not the service of Krishna. So we can all be in samadhi. It doesn't matter you're a family person or you're a brahmachari or a vanaprasthi. It doesn't matter. Our samadhi is serving Krishna all the time. Yes, Sakira Mataji.
Prabhuji, here, what does it like? What is their joyous state, or what is the transcendental happiness yogis feel? I didn't get it.
Okay, so yogis, when they concentrate on Paramatma, now we know there are 3 stages of absolute truth, as per Srimad Bhagavatam. So they're Brahmeti, Paramatmiti, Bhagavaniti Shabdayet. So even on Brahman, which is called Brahma Bhuta Prahasanatma Nasochitina Kamshati. So even in Brahman stage, there is a lot of happiness. There is a lot of joy. There's no doubt about it. Even Rupa Goswami talks about it. So as soon as you become Nirvana means out of this material existence, there is a real Sukha. Now here in the material world, Prabhupada said the highest Sukha in the material world is male-female attraction. That's the highest Sukha. But they have no idea about higher than this Sukha. But as soon as you leave all these material Sukha, which is based on the body and the bodily contacts, you go on beyond the material, you go on Brahman platform, you feel Sukha. So a yogi, whether it's a Jnana yogi or a Ashtanga yogi, they, because are not involving themselves in the material Sukha, actually they feel lot of happiness. But Rupa Goswami explains in Nectar of Devotion, they have Sukha, no doubt about it. But their Sukha in comparison to a Bhakta Sukha, which he is taking in serving Krishna, is like a drop in front of an ocean. So Rupa Goswami says, in front of, say, material sex Sukha, that's what NOD says, the Brahmanand Sukha is like a sagar, like an ocean, and material Sukha will be like a drop. The best Sukha, the best material Sukha will be like a drop, and Brahmanand will be like an ocean. But in front of Brahmananda and Bhakti Ananda, Brahmananda will be like a drop, and Bhakti Ananda will be like a ocean. That's why he is written Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. So for a Bhakta, it's a lot more Sukha than Brahmananda. But they do feel lot of joy, lot of peace for long period of time. But after a while, which is a long period, Bhakti Rasamrita Maharaj was explaining, So Brahmananda Sukha, for example, they go and stay in that Brahma Jyoti for long period, and that long period seems like eternity to us. But then after that eternity, Maharaj said, they have nothing else to do there, and they're like, how long you can stay empty? You're like, ab kya karna hai? What do I do next? And then you fall down again. And then they practice Bhakti Yoga, and then they go back again. Very few, like 4 Kumaras, Shukdev Goswami, who were Brahmavadis earlier, became Bhaktas from that platform. Okay. So they do have a lot of sukha. Okay, I'll go back to Rupa Prabhu. Sorry, we got a little diverted.
Should I finish the verse?
Yes, whatever. I was talking about Niruddha, so I thought we'll explain that word. Yes, Prabhuji, please go ahead.
So, translation, Prabhu?
We haven't done this one. So Niruddham Yoga Seva. So what we are doing, Chitta Nirodh. Chitta Nirodh refers to, again, withdrawing all your senses from the material sense gratification, from material consciousness. Yatra Chaivatmanatmanam Pashan Atmani Tushati. And how he is tushta, how he is satisfied? Atmani, inwards. He's not looking for a pizza or a cookie to be satisfied. Bahut din ho gaye pizza nahi khaya. I haven't taken ice cream the whole month of Kartik. That's not Atmani Tushtati. That's ice cream Tushtati or pizza Tushtati. So this Tushta will only give us satisfaction for a while. Sukham Atyantikam Yattat. So this is what we just spoke. This Sakhiradhika Mataji. Buddhi Grahyam Atindriyam. So Ati Indriya. Ati Indriya refers to Sukha, not Indriya Sukha. Ati Indriya Sukha. Ati Indriya refers to transcendental Sukha, which you perceive from your Indriyas. For example, Prabhupada said, Sevon Mukhe Jivado. That was Prabhupada quotes here. Basically, when you serve Krishna, then your same senses, which are the cause of misery, becomes the cause of your happiness. No? With same mind, same body, you can serve Krishna. Example, Ambarish Maharaj. This is called Atindriya Sukha. Vetyatana Chayam is the Charitatatah. So, okay, so we'll leave this. Let's start this 22nd verse. Yam labdhva. Labdhva means love. Everyone knows love. We're talking about love and lob. There's just a difference of one matra. When love becomes lob, people don't even realize. Initially, they work for love and then they work for lob. Yam labdhva. But if you achieve this, labdhva here refers to achieve. Cha aparam labham. He does not desire any other love. Suppose you get, Prabhupada said, 1,000 rupee note. Do you think 1 rupee note and 5 rupee note is already included in that big note? So when you have a big labh, other little lavas are already included in that. So yam labdhava, if you achieve this atyantikam sukha, atindriya sukha, yam labdhava cha aparam labham manyate na adhikam tataha. So he will not consider that labh as a greater labh. So if you achieve a transcendental happiness, transcendental connection with the transcendence, you will not hanker for any other worldly positions or any other worldly love, because it is so little in front of that. Yasmin istito, and if you are situated in that position, na dukhena gurunapi vichalyate. So guru refers to heavy, guru refers to big. Guru word has many meanings, but here guru means big. So guru dukha. So we all get dukha, and sometimes we get guru dukha. Guru dukha means bada wala dukha, very big dukha. Now many people tend to get agitated even in a small dukha. Even you can consider yourself when you became a devotee or sort of in Krishna consciousness, you would get agitated even with small things. Now, little bit control, little bit, sometimes at least. Sometimes you get, it's okay, it's not such a big deal. So there is a little change. There may not be huge change, but there is a little change. So you have more control, more patience. Initially, you would never imagine to sit down for 2 hours and chant Hare Krishna mantra. I would not. But now you can chant 16 rounds, 32 rounds, 40 rounds, no problem. Not such a big deal. It's not, oh my God, 40 rounds. It's okay. It's not such a, why? You have developed that capacity over the period of time. I can see some cooks here, they started from 1 or 2 dishes. Now they can cook, 64 dishes, no problem. But again, it didn't happen overnight. Over the period of time, they have developed that capacity. So similarly, a person who is situated on transcendence, Gurunapi, even a Guru Dukha come, very big Dukha come, na vichalyate, he will not be able to agitate this person. One example can be made. I'm just remembering in my mind of Lord Ram. Lord Ram was about to be coronated as the king of the whole world. In the next moment, everything was taken away. And not only the things were taken away, what happened? He was sent to the jungle. Now, if something was coming and something left, okay, it never made it to me, right? That's one thing. Someone started, you enter into a house and Rupa Prabhu said, Prabhu, there's nice pizza and the whole house is smelling nicely with pizza and ice cream and whatnot. And my mother is just bringing, and okay, nice, mother is bringing. By the time it reaches to you, the direction changes towards the person on your left. Arey, mera kya hoga? What about me? No, this is for that Prabhuji, not for you. Your number, okay, you'll not feel so bad. But not only you were not given the pizza, but whatever you had was taken away. And you were sent to exile. That's great. Hare, what did I do? Lord Ram, not only the things were taken away, but he was sent to the forest. Forest was, in Vedic culture, Manusmriti says, is next to the capital punishment. If someone was given the death punishment, the second punishment was send him to the forest. So forest actually was a death sentence. Lord Ram, no fault at all, was sent to the forest with his wife and brother as well. So, but what was the reaction of Lord Ram? What was the reaction? Zero. He was happy. He was actually not happy in receiving the kingdom, but he was happy in going to the jungle. Now, we are not like that, but just an example. So many things will come in life and will disturb you. You should not, na vichaliyet. And even if the biggest dukkha come, our connection to Krishna should never be lost. In Hindi, there was a verse I heard in some lecture, Lakh sankat pade sharira, Ram naam mat chodo veera. No matter how many miseries, sufferings come in your life, we should never quit chanting the holy name of the Lord. Never, ever, in any situation of life. No? Because if you quit that, then everything is gone. Everything is gone. Nothing is left with you. So yasmin nisito, if you are situated in that sort of situation, na vichaliyet, even if the gurunapi dukkha comes, even a big dukkha comes, it will not be able to shake you. It's all right. It's all right. Radhagovind Maharaj says, Aaj karodpati, kal roadpati. So today you are millionaire, tomorrow you are a pauper. But for a devotee, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. Devotee does not identify himself with a bank balance. His bank balance is his position in the heart of Krishna. That's his bank balance. How much position he has achieved in the heart of Krishna, in the heart of Vaishnavas, that is his real wealth. His real wealth is not in the bank or in the house. So tam vidyat, after knowing that dukkha sanyoga. So how many times we get dukkha sanyoga? We get in touch with dukkha. Anyone? Rarely. 14 years ago, I got some dukkha. For last 12 years, I haven't received any dukkha. Everyone is smiling. Prabhu, last 12 minutes, so many. So dukkha sanyogam. So in this material world, this is just a default position. Just 1 second. Prahlad Maharaj says, everyone wants to get in touch with Priya and everyone to go away with Apriya. So Priya means whatever we like, Apriya means whatever we don't like. So all of us are trying to get our favorable things, the things which we like, and trying to get away with the things which we don't like. But Prahlad Maharaj said, what happens in reality? We get sanyog of Apriya and viyog of Priya. We have taken, our loved ones are taken away from us many times. We love them or we love some things, they are taken away from us. And what we don't like, say our boss or neighbor, you have to tolerate them all the time. So this is a natural situation. So dukkha sanyoga. And if we are trying to do viyoga of this dukkha sanyoga, viyoga, yoga sangitam. So you be situated in yoga. You be in connection with Krishna. And if you are in connection with Krishna, what will happen? Viyog will happen. From what viyog will happen? Dukkha sanyogam. So what you're feeling agitated about, what you're feeling suffering about, if you want to get real viyoga from that, real separation from that, what is the only way? Don't run away to New Zealand. Don't run away to Switzerland. Don't run away to America. Americans are coming to Sydney. Sydney ones are going to America. Someone going to India. Someone going to Europe. Everyone is running here and there because no one is happy anywhere. And these travel agents are earning money. All these travel agents, you go to New Zealand and you'll be very happy. And you see New Zealand one are coming here in Sydney. I want to see Harbour Bridge. And you ask us, when was the last time you saw Harbour Bridge? Prabhu, I go from Harbour Bridge every day. I never see Harbour Bridge. And they spend $10,000 to come and see Harbour Bridge. And then you go and see the Statue of Liberty, which has so many bird droplets on the top. So this material world, dukkha sanyoga, Prabhupada says, this material world is just a misery in another form. He was in Switzerland. Some Prabhupada disciple said to Prabhupada, Prabhupada, people come here for relaxation. Prabhupada said, what relaxation? In the material world, it's just a misery in another form. Switzerland, miseries may be different. I've been to Switzerland as well. Same misery there. Same roads, same thing. Nothing different. I remember Prabhupada's sentence. I said, but even externally also it looks same. There's no difference. There is no difference at all. Huh? So just misery in another form. We're just exploring. We are just exploring. Oh, we have this hope that next country, next destination, next house, next job, next car will be better. It will not be better. It doesn't exist. It all exists in our mind. It all exists in our mind. Radha Govind Maharaj gave one beautiful example. Two persons were running late for a train. So they were running. Finally, they caught the train. Indian train, sometimes they come late. And this person, another person on the platform, he came on the platform like 2 hours before. So he was waiting for train 2 hours, and train was 2 hours late. And these two people who were late actually, and they were running towards the train, and they got the train. Once they got inside the train, they said, आज तो सोचा ट्रेन मिलेगी ही नहीं, हम 2 घंटा late. We were 2 hours late. We still got the train. Thank you, Krishna. And this person was cursing the train driver that I've been here 4 hours. Train is so late and is so sweaty, and there's so many people. He said it's just the same train, same driver, same people traveling from A to B. One person is happy, thanking the Lord. Another person is unhappy, cursing the Lord and the people and the driver. It's all in the mind. It's all in the mind. You can be happy anywhere, and you may not be happy. And Indra is also not happy. Brahmaji is also not happy. How come we will become happy? By acquiring some material possessions in this little tiny drop, Sydney. We're trying to become, proprietor. We're trying to become proprietor of more properties, more controllership, more enjoyership. Will not gain it. So if you want to gain this viyoga from dukkha sanyoga, yoga sangitam, be situated in yoga. Okay, let's move forward. 624. So who is the Manmohan Prabhuji? Hare Krishna, you're on the top.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhuji, for listening for so long to all of us. You're sitting silently. We've been speaking.
Sanishchayena yoktavyo.
Sanishchayena yoktavyo.
Yogo nirvanna chetasa.
Yogo nirvanna chetasa.
Sankalpa prabhavan kamams.
Sankalpa prabhavan kamams.
Tyaktva sarvana sheshata.
Tyaktva sarvana sheshataha.
Manasevendriya gramam.
Manasevendriya gramam.
Viniyamya samantata.
Viniyamya samantataha.
Translation. One should engage oneself in the practice of yoga with determination and faith, and not be deviated from the path. One should abandon without exception all material desires born of mental speculation, and thus control all the senses of all sides by the mind. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, nishchaya. So that person who is practicing this yoga, nishchaya. Nishchaya refers to determination. So now Prabhupada writes here in the purport, what's the definition of nishchaya? Usaha nishchaya dharya tat karma pravartana. So this famous verse from NOI. So Prabhupada sort of comparing this usaha. Usaha means I will never lose my enthusiasm till I achieve my destination. There was a Hindi song of a small boy, I forgot. When I was very young, I used to say that, anyway, I forgot the sign. So till the time I achieve my destination, I will not stop. So nishchay. So he does this nishchay. So in Bhakti, many times we don't have this utsaha. We lose the utsaha. Oh, I'm so low. My Bhakti is so low. I can never achieve Krishna. I can never be a pure devotee. So we lose this utsaha. But Prabhupada is saying we should never lose this utsaha. We may be slow. But if we are steady, by the mercy of Vaishnava, my Guru Maharaj was saying, you should definitely do a lot of effort, but whatever gaps are there will be filled up by the drops of mercy. I really like that. So we will have gaps. There is no doubt. Becoming a pure devotee is not easy. We'll have gaps. But he said, whatever the gaps are there, if you are sincere, they will be filled by the drops of mercy by Vaishnavas and Krishna. And Krishna. Because Krishna is not a fault-finding God. He's a God who is trying to assist. Like I'm seeing Abhiyan on the screen, when he is trying to walk, his mother is sort of saying, oh, Abhiyan, come on, yaar, can't you walk? What mother and father will do and the Didi will do, will hold the hand of Abhiyan. Will hold the hand. Oh, come on, you're walking. This is so nice of you. Similarly, our Krishna is so loving. So as soon as we start on the path of bhakti, he puts his hand forward in terms of Shastra, in terms of Vaishnavas, in terms of so much help he sends in our way, so that we can start walking nicely. And then one day we are running in bhakti. But the initial stage is always difficult. Anyone has learned how to ride a bicycle? Did you ever fell from the bicycle while you were riding? गिरे नहीं तो सीखे नहीं ना. गिरना जरूरी है. So unless you fall, you will not learn. So similarly, at this stage, we are learning how to ride on this bicycle of bhakti. It's difficult. It's difficult. But once you have learned, then it's so much fun. It's so much fun. So we should have this nischay in ourselves, nischay in process, and nischay. I have faith in Krishna as well. That Krishna is here to help us. He's not here to like push us. In material world, we are pushing each other. How can you go in front of me? But Krishna is bhaktair jitatvam. He is bound by the love, and he allows devotees to defeat him. Sorry, Damodar month is going on. You can remember that Damodar Ashtak. So, Sanishyan Yogo Anirvana Chetasa. So, Chetasa Anirvana. Chetasa Anirvana means is not deviating here and there. Chitta is perfect. Now, again, it comes out of practice. It doesn't happen overnight. Sankalpa Prabhuvan Kamas. So, Kamas refers to the desires. Sankalpa, desire of doing something. Yes, I will do it. Many times you have a desire which you'll say, I will definitely buy this car in my lifetime. Some devotees, I should not say devotees, some people have that desire, car or a house. Or one person was saying, I must have a portfolio of 25 properties in next 10 years. I heard from someone. Wow, a lot of utsah he has. So Krishna is saying, Sankalp Prabhuvan means coming out, born of Tyaktva. You leave them. How many you leave? Asheshata, don't leave even one desire. I think Chaitanya Prabhu or someone else was giving this nice example. If you have a big dam and just one small crack, how many? Just one. Forget big dam. You are going on a boat in an ocean or in a river. You only have one crack. And someone say, Prabhu, you have a crack. Arey yaar, come on, look at the nature. It's so sweet, it's so nice. Don't look at this negative points. Just one little crack. And what this one crack will do, after a while, it's just a small crack. Slowly, 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 it will open up. And the force of water will come inside. So one crack in our consciousness can pull the whole boat down of our bhakti. One crack. So Krishna is saying, how many desires you have to leave inside? How many material desires you have to leave inside? 0. Asheshata, Sarvan, sabko tyagna hai. Everything has to go out. Everything, my Guru Maharaj said, everything material has to go out. Everything material has to go out. So manas savindriya, manasa, indriya gramam. Gramam refers to samuha, a group. So indriya samuha, the group of indriya, viniyamya samantata. Viniyamya again refers to control. So control the whole group of senses. All material desires born of mental speculation, and thus control all senses on all sides by the mind. So manasa indriya gram. So from the mind you control the samuha, a group of other senses. Okay, so mind has to become very, very strong. 625. This is a very nice verse for bhaktas, for sadhakas. Who would like to read? Who has Kanika Mataji? Would you like to read that?
Yes, Prabhu. Shanay uparamed.
Shanayir uparamed.
Buddhaya driti grihitaya.
Buddhaya driti grihitaya.
Atma samsthan mana kritva.
Atma samsthan mana kritva.
Na kinchit api chintayet.
Na kinchit api chintayet.
Gradually, step by step, one should become situated in trance by means of intelligence, sustained by full conviction, and thus the mind should be fixed on the self alone and should think of nothing else.
Thank you, Mataji. So Krishna, see, he's not saying, you switch over. What's the problem? He's saying, no, Shanai, Shanai, Dhire Dhire, gradually. Huh? So Krishna is saying, step by step. So Krishna is so understanding God. He's not saying, just overnight you become the perfect yogi. He's saying, Shanai, slowly. Upar means cessation. Huh? Buddhaya dhrati grahitya. So what you have to do is step by step, gradually. You take a step, take a step, take a step. Buddhya, and then your buddhi should be carried by dhriti grahitya. Dhriti means conviction. So your intelligence should be carried by conviction. Now, a simple example, how many times you can help someone or consider others' opinion if you don't agree with. Huh? If you don't agree, sooner or later you will revolt. You say, Prabhu, enough, I can't do this anymore. But if you're convinced about something, then you're happy to do it. Huh? Now, how many of you, when you chant, you have a CCTV on your head, and then that gets reported to your leader, then to the leader on top of that? How many of you are reporting all this? Anyone have this sort of situation? But how many of you are chanting? I'm sure everyone is chanting at least 60 rounds a day, right? So because you're convinced in your mind, in your intelligence, I should say intelligence, that this is beneficial for me, right? You're convinced through the association of devotees after listening some lectures and seeing other devotees, you're convinced, and that's how you are carrying. Although your mind is not stable, may not be ekagra, but you're still doing it. Why? This is called dhrati. Dhrati means you're convinced. Dha means medhava. Medhavi, there's a word in Hindi, medhavi. So buddhya dhrati. So when your buddhi, when your intelligence is convinced, and you take a step by step, what's the step? Atma sanstam manakritva. You're trying to control your mind and starting your inner journey. Na kinchit api chint, and you're not thinking anything outside, not thinking anything outside. So this is how you march towards your inner journey. Okay. Next one, 646. Rasanan Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you. Yato yato nichalati.
Yato yato nischalati.
Manas sanchalam ashistram.
Manas chanchalam asthiram.
Tatas tato niyam yatat.
Tatas tato niyam yatat.
Atmani eva vastam nayat.
Atmani eva vasham nayat.
From wherever the mind wanders, due to its flickering and unsteady nature, one must certainly withdraw it and bring it back under control of the self.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So the previous Krishna was saying, start your inner journey step by step, control your mind. But if you are not able to control, so what will happen? By default, mind will go out of the track, out of the track. It's like when you drive a car, if you don't put your hand on the steering nicely, what will happen? By default, car will go off the track, car will go off the track. But driver, even if you're going from here to Melbourne or something, very straight road, but still you keep your hand on the steering. Why? Because by default, the steering will go off the track. So similarly, in the material world, our consciousness goes by default is off the track, off the track. So don't mind, actually, don't mind. This is a default situation. But what you should do, put it back on the track, put it back on the track, put it back on the track. Every time it goes out, you bring it back. So yato yato nischalati, yada ida masya, for example. Yato yato nischalati. Manas chanchalam is man. There's a quality of man is chanchal and asthir. Chanchal means child will come here and will go there. You give a toy, you're talking to a child, and immediately he will just turn around. You're like, I haven't finished my poem yet. I haven't finished my story. They are not so asthir. They are chanchal. They'll see this object, they will get distracted. And you will see, okay, now my child is safe, and he's playing with this toy. Immediately he will turn around to another thing. That game is finished. You buy a big game, big toy, and after 1 or 2 days, they are fed up with that game. New game, Papa, dusra wala. So similarly, our mind is default. Tatas tato. So as it goes out, you bring it back. Tatas tato niyamyata. Niyamyata means under control. Atmani eva vasham nayat. Vasham refers to control. So as it goes out, you bring it back. So when it goes out, don't mind, don't curse yourself. Why the mind is going away again and again. I'm so fallen. Nothing like that. This is just a default. We've been here for too long. So it goes out, you bring it back. It goes out, you bring it back on your holy name, on your book, on your deities, on your nice picture of Krishna. Bring it back. Whatever helps your mind to bring it under control, sit with that and try to bring it back, at least during the chanting. And Prabhupada also writes here in the purport very nicely, one who controls the mind is called Goswami, and one who is controlled by the mind is called Godas. Servant to the senses. So we know where we are at this stage. You may be all Goswamis. I'm a pure Godas, controlled by my senses all the time. But Prabhupada said this is not a permanent designation. Oh, you are a Godas, like you're a Shudra, so you'll be Shudra forever. No, you are a Godas, but a Godas also has an opportunity to become a Goswami. So this is the beauty of Bhakti. Anyone and everyone is included in the umbrella of Bhakti. Anyone can practice Bhakti, no matter how much fallen you are. You are complete Godas, 100% Godas, 90% Godas, 60% Godas, chalega. Everyone is welcome. It's not like we only give admissions to 100% pure devotees. If that would be the case, none of us will be able to go to temple. Krishna is super pure. His devotees are super pure. We are not. But still, Krishna is very, very kind. And he gives us a perfect process from becoming a Godas to a Goswami. Who is next who hasn't participated as yet? We have Mohit Prabhu. Hare Krishna. He's
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Would you like to read?
I'll read, Prabhu. Yeah, 627. Sure, Prabhu. Okay, Prasanta manasam hi enam.
Prashanta manasam hi enam.
Yoginam sukham uttamam.
Yoginam sukham uttamam.
Upeti shanta rajasam.
Upeti shanta rajasam.
Brahma bhutam akalmasham.
Brahma bhutam akalmasham.
Translation. The yogi whose mind is fixed on me verily attains the highest perfection of transcendental happiness. He is beyond the mode of passion. He realizes his qualitative identity with the Supreme, and thus he is freed from all reactions to past deeds.
Thank you. So this is the result of controlling your mind, which we have been discussing in the previous verses. So what happened? Prashant Manasam. So his mind is Prashanta. So we're discussing the word Shanta, and Prashanta is deeply Shant. He's deeply Shant. He's not just externally Shanta. Prashant Manasam Hienam. His mind is not agitated anymore. Yoginam Sukham Uttamam. And then what will be the result? They will get the Uttam Sukha. What is Uttam Sukha? Means the best Sukha. Now, again, as I said, in the material world, the definition of best Sukha from the material people is very different. Very, very different. We're not talking that definition here. We're talking real Sukha. What is the real Sukha? Which comes in contact with Krishna. That's a real Sukha. So Uttamam, there's no better Sukha than that. And Upayati Shant Rajasam. So Rajas mane agitation of our mind. So at the moment, because our mind is in passion and ignorance, is always agitated. But this yogi's mind is Shant Rajasam. Shant means there is no passion in the mind anymore. So most of us, it says humans are on the platform of passion, demigods are in the platform of goodness, animals are in mode of ignorance, generally speaking. Now in humans also there will be categories. Some people will be more passion goodness, some people will be passion, and some people will be passion ignorance. You see, current world 99.99 is passion ignorance. Now Devtas is always goodness, but sometimes when Indra is doing something unhealthy, that's not goodness, that's goodness passion or goodness ignorance. Brahmaji sometimes goes in goodness ignorance. Indra goes in passion. I am Indra, I am the king of the Swargloka. I don't consider Krishna. So all those things are passion. And then when he's trying to kill Brajavasis, that's passion ignorance. So, but in this person's mind, in this yoga, Shant Rajasam, there is no Rajas, there's no passion, there's no show off, there's nothing to achieve materially in the world. Brahma Bhutam Akalmasham. So what is Kalmash? Anyone remembers? What's the definition of Kalmash? 6 anarthas are our kalmasha. 6 anarthas of the kalmasha. So akalmasha means there is no 6. Lust, greed, anger, pride, illusion, all that. They are the kalmash. They are the contamination of the mind, especially in Kali Yuga a lot. So Brahma Bhutam, he is situated on the transcendental platform. He is akalmasham. He has no contamination. He has no passion of the mind, and he is feeling the highest pleasure. Now 628 to 632, there are the series of 4 verses, and in each verse, so 628 Brahman realization is explained, 629 Paramatma realization is explained, and 630 is Bhagwan realization is explained, and 631 and 32 will be sort of conclusory verses of this section. So let's read 628, which is Brahman realization. I'll go back to Manmohan Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Just very small on my screen, opening on the.
Can you see this, Prabhu?
Yeah, I'm just opening it on my phone, Prabhu.
No problem.
Small on the screen. Yunjan evam sadatmanam.
Yunjan evam sadatmanam.
Yogi vigat kalmasha.
Yogi vigat kalmashaha.
Sukhena brahma samsparsham.
Sukhena brahma samsparsham.
Atyantatma sukham anu ashnute.
Atyantam sukham ashnute.
Translation. Thus the self-controlled yogi, constantly engaged in yoga practice, becomes free from all material contamination and achieves the highest stage of perfection, happiness in transcendental loving service to the Lord. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So, Yujan Nevam Sada Atmanam. So, Sada Atmanam. So, where he's sort of leaning towards Sada Atmanam. So, he's always constantly engaged in the practice of yoga. He's not like, I do 9 to 5 yoga and then 5 p.m. onwards, I watch footy. It's not like Sada Atmanam. Yogi, this person, yogi, is Vigat Kalmasha. So Akalmasha, which we read in the previous verse, Vigat Kalmasha, Vigat Bhi, Brahmachari Varte Sitha. So we are reading in the earlier. So Vigat means it's not there. So what is not there? Kalmasha is not there. Sukhen, he's experiencing Sukha. How he is experiencing Sukha? Brahma Sansparsham. So what does Brahma Sansparsham mean? Yehi sansparsha bhoga dukha yona evte adyantmanta konte na teshuram devta. So 522, we read that verse. So sansparsha bhoga. So when we do touch of bhoga, for example, we see something, we listen something, we eat something. So all these are called sansparsha, means touch. With the sense of touch, with the sense of see, with the sense of smell or hearing, we feel some sort of sukha. But here the sukha is coming from where? Brahma Sansparsha. He is in touch with Brahman, with transcendence he is touched. Now here Brahma can also refer to a vigraha. Suppose you are doing deity worship, and you dress the deity, you decorate the deity very nicely, you put garland for the deity, you touch the feet of the deity. All this also is called Brahma Sansparsha, but that's not the primary meaning here. So the deity worship will also give you sukha, but here Brahma Sansparsha, in your heart you are connected with the Lord. Connected with the Lord constantly, and the more you are connected to the Lord, you are constantly in that platform. Atyantam sukham ashrute. Ashrute refers to, you remember, ashrute means grahan karna, to accept. So how much sukha you are accepting? Atyantam sukham ashrute. So these two verses 27-20 talks about sukha. Sukha on the platform of transcendence, not on material platform, which doesn't exist at all. So this is referring to Brahman platform. Let's read this Paramatma platform. 629. This very nice verse, 629, 630. Who will read? Jai Prakash Prabhuji, would you like to read?
Sure, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. Sarvabhutastamatmanam.
Sarvabhutastamatmanam.
Sarvabhutani chatmani.
Sarvabhutani chatmani.
Ikshate yoga yuktatma
Ikshate yoga yuktatma
sarvatra samadarshanaha.
sarvatra samadarshanaha.
A true yogi observes me in all beings and also sees every being in me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord everywhere. Srila Prabhupada ki jai.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Sarva Bhutastha Atmanam. So very simple English. Sarva Bhuta refers to all the jivas. Istham. What is Istham? What is situated? Atmanam. Atmanam means he's looking at the soul. So you remember 5:18 Vidyavane Sampane Brahmanika Vyasri Sunicha Shpakecha Pandita Samdarshan. So what is Samdarshana? He's looking at soul. He's not looking just the body. Looking body of a Brahman, but body of Brahman has the same soul as the body of a dog or dog eater. So a true yogi observes me in all beings. Okay. Sarva Bhutani Chatmani, and he also sees every being in me. So he sees soul or super soul or both. You can take any translation here. Huh? So he sees these spiritual existence in all the bodies, right? And he sees all the bodies in the spiritual existence of Krishna. Like we know, we are situated in the body of Mahavishnu, all of us. Huh? We are all situated in the body of Mahavishnu. So we see the soul or the super soul or both in all the living entities, and we see everyone is situated in the Mahavishnu, for example, in me. Prabhupada writes here, Ikshate yoga yuktatma. Ikshate means to see. Iksha, Aksha is I. Adhokshaj, this Krishna's name is Adhokshaj, beyond the sense perception. Yogic Tatma, so one who is Yogic Tatma, Sarvatra Samdarshana. So everywhere, what is he saying? He is seeing that spiritual existence inside and outside. A true yogi observes me in all beings, Sarva Bhuta Satmanam, and also sees every being in me. Sarva Bhutani Cha Atmani. Atmani refers to Krishna, me. Indeed, the self-realized person sees me, the same Supreme Lord, everywhere. Sarvatra Samadarshana, same word is used. Huh? But what he's doing, Sarvatra, everywhere he's seeing. Now, one question which was raised by some devotee anyway, Prabhupada answered that very nicely. So when a person is seeing the spiritual existence outside, does he see the being, or he only sees, say, Paramatma? This question was asked, I think, in relation to Prahlad Maharaj past time, and Prahlad was asked by Hiranyakashipu. So, do you see Vishnu everywhere? What was the response of Prahlad? Yes. Huh? So, does it mean Prahlad was not seeing the pillar? Prahlad was not seeing Hiranyakashipu? Prahlad was not seeing the crown or the table or the throne? No, he was seeing those things, but in those things he was seeing Lord Vishnu. An example Prabhupada gave very nicely: when a child goes to a school, when mother sees the shoes of the child, when he sees the socks of the child, what does that shoe gets reminded of his child, of her child? Huh? So mother sees a little shoe, oh, they're my Baba's shoes. Whatever. He sees a small pencil, oh, it's my Baba's pencil. Huh? So mother is seeing the pencil, seeing the shoes, but the shoe is reminding the mother of the child. So similarly, a devotee sees the things of the world. It's not like, I don't see computer, I don't see train, I see car, I see train, I see computer. But through the computer, I get reminded, oh, this is Krishna's. So nice. It's so beautiful. This tree is Krishna's, mountain is Krishna's, this river is Krishna's. It is so nice. So everything I'm able to see Krishna's presence, and this is called seeing Krishna everywhere. It does not mean I see only Krishna, I don't see any river and mountain. No, I see mountain, I see river, but it is Krishna's. Okay, let's read the last verse and we'll stop there. It's in relation, I'll explain a little bit more next time. Priya Mataji, would you like to read? Okay, I'm not sure whether she's there. Vinay Prabhuji?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Yomam pashyati sarvatra.
Yomam pashyati sarvatra.
Sarvam cha mayi pashyati.
Sarvam cha mayi pashyati.
Tasya ayang na pranashyami.
Tasya ham na pranashyami.
Chacha mena pranashyati.
Chacha mena pranashyati.
Translation is, for one who see me everywhere and see everything in me, I am never lost, nor is he ever lost to me? Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhuji. So basically, this verse is the realization of Bhagavan, and we'll see why. So, yo mam pashyati. So, one thing is very clear, mam, talking about a person, mam, me. Huh? Yo mam pashyati. So, if you look in the previous verse, say 6:29, Sarvabhutas Atmanam, Sarvabhutani Chatmani. So, it's not referring to any mam here. Huh? So, it's referring to the spiritual existence here. But here, obviously, referring to spiritual existence as soul or super soul, which is the Paramatma level, right? But here he is clearly saying, yo mam pashyati, mujhe dekh raha hai. He's seeing me, sarvatra, he's seeing me everywhere. Sarvam chamai pashyati, and he sees everything in me. So he sees me everywhere and he sees everything in me. Tasyaham, to that person, na paranashyami. That person is never lost for me. So I'm always remembering that person. Sacha mena prasya, and that person is always in remembrance of me. So there's a relation of person to person here, and this is why it's called Bhagavan level. So yo mam pashyati sarva, jo mujhe har jagah dekhta hai, one who sees me everywhere and sees everything in me. Aham na pranashyami, that person is not lost to me. One quick example I'll give. Hanumanji went to Lord Ram, and someone told me Lord Ram has a diary for all his devotees. So Hanumanji requested Lord Ram, can I see your diary? So Ramji said, oh, sure, please. Huh? So Hanumanji took the diary and he was looking at different names. Bharat names were there, Sita Mata's name was there, Shatrughan name was there, and so many different names. And Hanumanji was flickering the pages. The diary finished. And he thought, I'm a devotee of Lord Ram. My name should be there as well. Every devotee was mentioned there, except Lord Hanuman. Then he was a bit depressed, and he said to Lord Ram, so Lord Ram, am I not your devotee? My name is not there in the diary. And he said, these are the bhaktas who remember me all the time. I have another diary whom I remember all the time. And he took out another diary from his pocket. He gave to Hanumanji, and only one name was written there. What was the name? Hanuman. So the whole diary, and Hanuman started crying. Lord Ram loves me so much. He never forgets me. And Krishna is saying the same thing for other. So it's not just a Hanuman and Lord Ram relationship. And this Krishna's relationship with Yashoda Maya, with Radharani, with Rupa Goswami. So he has, and only he can do it. We can't do it. We can only love one or two persons max at a time. Krishna can love everyone at the same time in fullest extent. He can reciprocate with Yashoda Maya, he can reciprocate with Radharani and Gopi at the same time. He can dance with 6 billion gopis, no problem. Everyone is fully satisfied. We cannot live with one or two persons with being fully satisfied, because we are incomplete. Krishna, Lord Ram is complete. So for one who sees me everywhere, sees everything in me, I am never lost, nor he is ever lost to me. And Prabhupada gives a nice reference. Premanjan Chureda Bhakti Vilochena, Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Viloken. Sadaiv. Sant Lok always seeing Krishna with the eyes of the ointment with love. So we'll stop here and we'll just expand a little bit more next time on this particular verse, but we have covered most of it. I thought the three are very interrelated, so we should do it simultaneously. And 31, 32, they're like the conclusion, which we'll do next time, and then we'll enter into the next section of this chapter, 33, which is very, very nice questions by Arjun. Okay, we'll stop here. So Prabhuji, any announcements?
No, Prabhuji, no announcements. Just one thing, that next class would be Thursday, and that'll be the last of the series of online classes on Thursday.
Okay, Prabhuji, just one more thing. 20th November, I'm not available. I have to go somewhere, so I think we have to do the following class on Thursday as well.
Sure.
We can decide next week. Yeah, but at this stage, 20th, I have an evening engagement.
Okay, sure.
Yeah, but we'll decide next week. Probably we'll continue Wednesday or Thursday, whatever suits devotees. I'm happy with either day. Okay.
Sure.
If you have any questions, please write it down. We'll take it next time before starting the class. Okay. Hare Krishna. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. Gaur Premanand.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.